Peace, peace. Hey, y'all, hey. Maya Kiana here, and we are back with another stream. It's so good to see y'all. It's so good to be back. So, we are going to get into some of the key steps to growth, what I personally feel like are essential, what's it called, steps on the ladder to growth, essentially. Before we do that, let me make sure the audio and video was good on Twitch and YouTube. Because I don't want to do all this talking. It turns out y'all can't hear me. You know, technology has been acting crazy. Mercury is still in retrograde until the 29th, I believe. So there's that. But nonetheless, we still gonna do what we need to do. Okay. I'm good on Twitch. Let's make sure I'm good on YouTube. I feel like Twitch is good, YouTube is usually good, but I want to still be sure. Usually good, but hey, all right, we are good. So now we can jump into the meat and bones of this session. Now I wanted to touch on growth, which is inevitable and essential. We can't control growth, essentially. We can't control change. Change is something that is inevitable. Change is always occurring, change is always happening. The only constant is change. Things are always changing. But what you can control is the direction in which you are changing. So this can be perceived as sometimes going forward or backwards, growing, advancing, or my word to be leaving me, y'all. I'm trying to think of a sophisticated word for basically going backwards. If you know it, put it in the chat. You would think I didn't my vocabulary was ass, but it's really good. But it just be something about talking in front of the camera sometimes. But and also I'm actively working on my communication skills, which is one of the things that is very important and heavy in my God given mission and my purpose here. So there's that, and doing it live, y'all get to see me work through it, and I hope it's motivation and inspiration for anybody who's doing the same. What I feel like is essential when it comes to growth and being an active person, playing an active role in your growth, is making sure you are applying discipline and consistency. Nothing grows without discipline or consistency. And it shows up in many different ways on many different levels. So I want to talk about the physical, the mental, and the spiritual level for each of these. And the sentence that kind of wraps this all up is that consistent discipline equals growth. Consistent discipline equals growth. So I would use that and take that and flip it into a daily affirmation that you can remind yourself to help yourself get on the right track. So when we think about growth on the physical level, let's use, for example, exercise. I feel like that's the best example, right? So what does it look like to apply consistent discipline in exercise? Well, the first step would be to apply the discipline, right? You have to train yourself to apply energy, to get out of bed and go to the gym or work out at home or wherever it is that you do your workout practice, or whether it's just taking a walk. You have to train your brain to actually do it, right? Sometimes that's the hardest part because we have these great ideas. This is why New Year's resolutions don't always sustain themselves, because the lack of discipline. And that is very, very important, because when you think about it, discipline is what makes something more than just a dream, more than just a thought, more than just an idea. It's great and it's beautiful to have these ideas and these thoughts in this beautiful mind. But the real work comes in when you work to take it from the mental realm into the physical reality that we live in, right? So, first step, you apply the action behind the idea of getting up and going to do that workout. You discipline your mind to get your body up out of bed and into the gym or outside, walking the trail, whatever it may be. After you do this one time, believe it or not, it gets easier. It's always up to you to keep the ball rolling. But after you do it one time, you are showing yourself that you can do it, that you can will into existence what it is that you had in your mind. So once you apply that discipline one time, consistency starts to build just from that one instance. But it's up to you, like I said, to keep the ball rolling, right? Energy and motion is phase of motion. It's up to you to keep that energy and motion. So you do it one day, you make sure you do it the next day. If it's, say you decided to work out daily, you have to apply that energy every day for a month. I'm just throwing out an arbitrary date. If you really want to see growth, you got to do it consistently for a month. Or if you decide to do it every other day, if you really want to see growth, you got to be consistent for at least like 2 months. If you decide to do it to exercise a few times a week, in 3 months, you'll start to see that growth, but only after you've been consistent with it, right? And I feel like the physical level is the easiest level to work on. It's the lowest level, which is sometimes it varies, honestly, depending on who you are. Sometimes the physical level can be the easiest level to conquer, and sometimes the physical level is one of the hardest levels to conquer. So it's really a case by case thing. But I think exercise is a great example, and that's why it's important for us to make sure we are staying up on keeping our bodies healthy, because it is a trinity, right? The mind, the body, and spirit, they all work together and they all need attention, they all need care. So keeping the body healthy is super important. So in physical reality, discipline plus consistency equals growth. If you think about it on a mental aspect, um, which is all connected. So it's really hard to separate these, but sometimes it's necessary to separate them to explain like situational things. So if you think about it on the mental level, the first step of that physical level and you getting up out of bed was to train your brain, right? The mental discipline. So mind control is so important, right? And we know this because the media is always trying to control your mind. The government is always trying to control your mind. All of these entities outside of you are always trying to control your mind, right? So this is a telltale sign that mind control is a key, right? A major key. So if anybody's going to have that key, it should be you. You should be the one to control your mind. And this can look like training yourself to pray on a consistent basis, training yourself to do affirmations or journaling, which I consider to be prayer in different forms on a consistent basis. It can be training yourself to communicate with people who are conducive to you ascending and being closer to your higher self. These are different ways to gain more control over your mind. It could be consistency in self-education through watching educational content, reading, which is a great, great, great tool that is, you know, not as popular as it once was, but still important nonetheless. And then applying this in the spiritual realm, you can kind of see how the lines mesh into each other, right? Spiritual discipline and consistency can look like having your rituals that you do. And sometimes the word ritual scares people, but essentially a ritual is just something that you do regularly. It can be swapped with the word routine. A spiritual ritual, a spiritual routine, which is unique to you. Everybody has their own spiritual practices, so it's not going to be the same for everybody. But it can be a spiritual bath, it can be journaling, it can be prayer. Hey y'all, we are back. I don't know what happened. I think that's Mercury retrograding. Disruptions, minor things. Always gonna happen when you want to write that. Let me make sure we good on all platforms again. YouTube probably feeling. Can I hear me? See me. Are you on other platforms? Yes, I'm on damn near every platform. Maya Kiana on all platforms. I think we good. Hold on, let me refresh it. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Twitch, are we good? Twitch, are we good? All right, we good on Twitch. Twitch, are we good? Can y'all hear me on YouTube in my back? Can y'all see me? Let me know, chat. I don't know what just happened, but we gonna keep the ball rolling. Rolling. That's a good example. See, life gonna give you opportunities to practice what you preach every single time. And you can lie to other people, but you can't lie to yourself and you can't lie to God. So that's why it just makes sense to tell the truth, in my opinion. Um, good example of personal growth, right? Discipline, consistency. I could have said fuck it. Internet start messing up, things start going awry. I could have not been consistent. I could have not been disciplined, but I'm going to choose to do that each and every time. Each and every time. All right, we back. We back. Thank y'all for tapping back in. Yes, I am on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Maya Kiana on both of those platforms. I am on TikTok, Maya Kiana on TikTok. I am on Patreon, Love Circle on Patreon. That link is in my bio as well. And I think that's everything. If you click any of them links, the links to all of the other ones will be in the bio. So if you click Instagram, no. If you click Twitch, all of my social media links are on there. So I think that's the best place to go, honestly. And I believe my other social medias are also in the bio of my YouTube too. So just click around a little bit. You'll definitely be able to find me on all platforms. It's Maya Kiana. It shouldn't be that hard to find. Thank you for asking that question. Thank you for tapping in. And where were we? I think we were talking about consistency and discipline in the spiritual level. Yes. So this looks different for everybody because we all have different spiritual beliefs, different spiritual practices. I like spiritual baths. I love to journal. I love prayer, which can look different. Prayer has so many different forms to me. It can look like getting down on your knees, closing your eyes, and speaking your request or your gratitude in that way. It can look like putting it in a poem, putting it in music. There's so many different ways to pray. I essentially believe that it is using your voice, using your body, using your physical vessel to communicate with the Most High. So that can be interpreted in many different ways. That can be dancing, like, you know, I see the connection in everything. I'm very big on oneness. And that is what my platform is based off of. It's based off internal governance being led by the divine within you. So I love to practice ways to increase that communication to be able to hear God speak within you more strongly. And I think the best way to do that is through creative expression. And if you identify with that, then you're in the right place. This is the community that I am attracting, that I am building. And that is the main steps to growth. It's really not many steps. It's really just two. It's discipline and it's consistency. And another thing I want to touch on about consistency is that it doesn't look like a straight line. And it's more so like stairs, right? You take one step and to fully complete a certain step, it might take you several different times. If you go back to the idea of exercise, say you set the goal to exercise every day for a month. You might miss a couple days, but consistency is what keeps you going back. It keeps you okay. I missed yesterday, but I'm going to get back up and do it today. You might miss 2 days, but on that third day, you get back up and you try again. In the words of our girl Leah, first you're going to succeed, get yourself up and try again. That's consistency. It's not always a straight line, but you have to give it another at bat. You have to keep trying. That's where the work comes in, right? That's why an idea can look so beautiful, but it's like when you try it and you mess up, are you going to be strong enough to keep going? And I think you are, because you can do whatever you put your mind to. Because that's how we do. We do like that. My mom used to pray with us at night, and we ended every prayer with, I can do whatever I put my mind to. And it's something that was instilled in me. And as an adult, it's something that I continue to instill in myself and will instill in my children. And it's an essential mindset because we have to carry our confidence, right? We don't want to pass down doubt to the next generation and fear. And mind you, these are natural emotions, not to say that we are immune from them, but how do you react when you feel them? How do you show up? How do you really prove to yourself, because that's the only person you have to prove anything to, that you really that you really him, you really are. Gotta get up and try again. And I think that's the beauty in life too, right? Because there's so many ways to try something. I think the tricky part a lot of times is determining when to pivot, because sometimes it can feel like, damn, I've been on this road for a long time. I have to keep going the same direction. Or it can feel like I haven't been doing this long enough, but I still don't feel confident enough at it, so I'm gonna just switch gears. So that might be the hardest part for a lot of people. Sometimes that's the hardest part for me, determining when to pivot or how to pivot. But that is where spirit kicks in, and we have to tap into prayer. We got to, it's all connected. The what I consider the Trinity, mind, body, and spirit. We got to tap into all of these aspects. So when your mind is starting to go awry a little bit and you're not sure exactly which way to go, this is where prayer is the most helpful, the most helpful. Ask those questions to source and listen for the answer. So in summary, consistent discipline equals growth. And that is in the physical, mental, and spiritual aspect. And I think that's the message that we're going to close out with today. And before I got off of here, I wanted to let y'all know what I have going on, what's coming up next. So the next thing that I have on our schedule is Music and Meaning. Music and Meaning is another environment that I create or I host to go deeper into different musical creations. So we'll analyze the lyrics behind a piece of art, music. And I like to, because I love music. Like, music is like the heart of me. And I feel like it's essential to know what you're digesting, right? More often than not, it's important to know or understand. And it's also fun to analyze and digest music that you love. This is why we love the music. So I like to hold a mirror up or allow us to take a deeper dive into certain songs and go into their meaning, go into their impact, go into their purpose. So that's what Music and Meaning is all about. And if you're interested in having your music featured on an episode of Music and Meaning, you can become a member inside the Patreon. And anybody who is a member in there has access to having their music featured on the segment, which we do every other Friday. So that's scheduled for next Friday. That's the next upcoming thing. What date is it for? What date is that? The 24th. Music and Meaning. In addition to that, we are starting the book club. The first day of the book club will be on July 30th. That is a Thursday. and I'm super excited for that one. The book that we are reading is titled The Black Memorandum. Hold on, I'm going to look up the full title because that's just a part of it. Yes, hold on, let me share the screen. Dang, I almost forgot how to do it. See, this is what happens when you're not consistent. I've been going for like 2 days, losing my skill set, but I am consistent because I'm going to keep being on here. I'm not going to stop. Okay, yeah, y'all can see my screen. You are like your friend to the platform for a project created by the Unlimited Voice. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's my girl. So the author of this book is Protege of Purpose, also known as the Unlimited Voice, who is from Philly, from the city, no longer staying here at the moment, but always going to claim her, as she claims herself to be a Philly girl. And the book is called The Black Memorandum. And this gives us a little bit of details about it to foster healing, encourage holistic personal development and self-healing, document culture online and embody the history and everyday realities of Black Indigenous culture. So this is a little tidbit about her. And if you want to know more about her, then definitely tap in to her platforms, Protege of Purpose, and you can also link with her inside of the Patreon. And this is the book that we're going to be reading, The Black Memorandum, Poetic Messages of Black Empowerment, Love, and Healing. So that is the full title. So if you're interested in joining that book club, you can click that link, join up in the Patreon, and we will see y'all on the first day, which is the 30th. Now, definitely order your book if you don't have one because you want your book to be here before the 30th. And I don't know if y'all got Prime or not, but sometimes, even with Prime, sometimes the shipping be a little, yeah. So hopefully you seeing this in time to get your copy and you'll be able to join us inside the book club. So we're sparking that off on the 30th. I'm super excited about that. And that's what we got coming up so far. There are a lot of other things, but I wanted to prioritize these two things for this live. So we're going to leave it at that. And I'm going to hop off. This was a good session. Good stream is always a good time. And I will see y'all when it starts to line. Now, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you're making in the comments. Follow me on Twitch. Tap in on Patreon. Tap in on Facebook, Instagram, all of the socials. I'm going to do that right now too, because another part of my discipline was planning out my schedule. And today is a content day. So I'm gonna make sure I get all of my links and all of that in order before I go to bed tonight. And then I'm going to bed because y'all, I'm a little bit tired. But all right. That's it, y'all. I will see y'all. Peace, and don't forget to live in love.